YouTube, how the heck are we doing? It is Foul Play here, and I'm back again for another Pauper League with Bogles. So I have actually made a few changes to the deck since I played it last week. I was fairly happy with how it ran, but I'm making some adjustments for the sideboard mostly. So in the main deck, I've gone up to 3 Commune with Spirits, minusing 1 Armadillo Cloak. Could be wrong to minus Armadillo Cloak. I've seen a lot of other lists minusing Rancor. Obviously, there's also flex slots in Cartouche and Sentinel's Eyes. I want to leave both at 2 at the moment. I think if we reduce Cartouche to 1, we might as well strip it all together. And I don't exactly want to do that given the sideboard. So, moving on to the sideboard, so I've made quite a few changes here, mostly bringing in the inclusion of Blue Elemental Blast and Red Elemental Blast. So I've had a little bit of trouble against fairies, particularly post-board. So having the access to Red Elemental Blast, that's going to give us a card which will answer Stealth Starter Sprite, Counterspell, and Annul, and that seems pretty good to me. Also, it's something that will kill Delver of Secrets once it's flipped into Insect Apparition, which a lot of other cards won't. I've still got the 1 Scattershot Archer in there. I should probably let that go and up the numbers of something else somewhere, given like 3 sideboard cards is pretty heavy boarding. So logic behind Blue Elemental Blast is for the Mono Red Blitz type deck. Less concerned with countering a spell, more concerned with killing a creature such as Killing Fiend or even Monastery Swiftspear. If you remove that creature, that probably removes quite a large chunk of their damage, like 6 or 7 damage pretty easily, which should give us time to hit our Armadillo Cloaks, gain some life, etc. Outside of that, still got Young Wolf for Edict type effects, random 1 of Standard Bearer, and a random 1 of Gutshot. Obviously, these 3 1-ofs could be consolidated to up the hit rate. At the moment, this is what we're going with. Match number 1, we've won the die roll. This hand is a mulligan, versing Sester here. We'll keep this hand, it's pretty aura light. At least we have a 3/3 first striker with good mana. Going to be very reliant on our draws though. Alright, so we see Gate from our opponent. I suppose that means they are on some description of cat deck. Doesn't really matter what color we go for here. Traditionally you go for white. We have 2 white sources in hand though, so maybe it should be green. We also have another green source in hand though. Opponent hits up the Preordain. Obviously, hitting a 3 mana aura would be great at the moment because we can actually curve out onto that. They keep 2 cards on the top, Basic Island and Pass to Us. Goodness, that's not the help we're looking for. Alright, so we'll hit in for 3, drop an extra creature and pass back. Another Preordain. So now my opponent can probably extrapolate that I don't have much in hand. We've had 2 dead draws so far. And, I mean, it gives them the green light to pile on the pressure. We could be slow rolling around an Edict effect, but that's very, very unlikely main deck from what we've seen. That our opponent would be concerned on that. So with the second Preordain, that was 1 top, 1 bottom. So that was the 2 cards that he's topped from the first one, drawn. Wow, we're look, the good news is we can play around like Spell Pierce, Mystical Dispute, Mana Leak, cards like that, right? Okay, opponent hits up the Blighted Agent. That's absolutely terrifying. So I suppose they can use the buff gate to give it +4/+4, and we continue to draw dead. So let's throw down another 1/1 creature and pass. Alright, opponent with the Ballistic Gate active, and we're going to go in with Blighted Agent, Assault Strobe. Holy moly, we've just got swagged on. Alright, GG's opponent. We did blank for quite a few turns in a row there. Top of the library, would have helped us. Oh well, onto the sideboarding. So from my opponent's land, I believe we saw Teamer colors. So we can probably safely assume a creature like Glistener Elf is in the deck, and potentially they might even have the 2-mana artifact version as well. As far as sideboard is concerned, Gutshot is helpful. It's potential that Red Elemental Blast is helpful, but only against Blighted Agent. It's probably worth considering a little bit though, just given that's the unblockable one. And also Standard Bearer seems like a good card to board in. So as far as board outs are concerned, I'm going to remove a Silhana Ledgewalker, I'm going to remove 2 Rancors, and I'm going to remove a Sentinel's Eyes. Let's get into it. Alright, another strong contender for mulliganing. This one we'll keep. We'll bottom 1 Slippery Bogle. This gives us a turn 3 Armadillo Cloak and a couple of blockers. Obviously, Blighted Agent will be our worst enemy here again. Opponent keeps the 7. So we'll see if we can turn this one around. This is pretty horrible matchup in Modern, the Infect matchup. We'll see what it's like in Pauper, but it's not looking great so far. Alright, so top of the library, not helping us overly. Although the unblockable could be handy. It's probably worth going in on just in case. And then we can use the Bogle as a chump blocker if need be. Either way, I mean, we sort of miss out on 1 damage this way. But it should be okay, mostly. There's the Blighted Agent coming to ruin our day. And we cannot block that creature, so we might as well attack with both. So opponent's taking a little while to sequence their turn here. Obviously, if we do draw the Elemental Blast, we do not currently have mana to cast it, so we would need to draw potentially Abundant Growth into the Blast. Ballistic Gate has come down. Another Ancestral Mask. Okay, well, this is a straight up race, and we don't have a say in that. If we'd have played the Cartouche earlier on, we would have had our opponent at about 5 or 6 instead. They could potentially block, but trample damage. Oh, wow. They've got the Assault Strobe again. Wow. Well, that's just sad. Turn 4 kill again. Next turn, we have them on crackback, but we're not quick enough. Match number 2, we lost the die roll. Opponent is on the play, mulliganing to 6. We'll keep this hand. It's potentially awkward, but we do have access to double Utopia Sprawl. And we're also on the draw. Okay, so we do find Forest. That's going to be helpful. Opponent plays Night Market Lookout. When it becomes tapped, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Okay. Attacks each combat if able. So we should definitely try to play around Diabolic Edict if we can. This card is sort of making it possible. Alright, Utopia Sprawl here. We have a lot of green in hand. I think playing green is not horrible. Going Silhana Ledgewalker is reasonable as well. We could potentially also go Bogle plus double Utopia Sprawl. Not interested in attacking into this one. Opponent Vampire Lactator. Alright, more drain triggers. No blocks still. We do have Vigilance. We're going to have to find First Strike or something to help out though. Bump in the Night as well. So this is like a black burn deck basically. Commune with Spirits. Alright, so let's start with tapping double green. We'll play out the Utopia Sprawl. We'll go Utopia Sprawl for white. We'll now commune with Spirits with the green floating. We find Ancestral Mask. We'll take it. Play out these remaining auras. Attacks. Opponent is down to 1 card in hand, drawing another Night Market Lookout. Okay, another one of these. Our life total, though, is dwindling a fair bit. They still can be potentially holding up Diabolic Edict. This gives us a chance to block here. I think this block is fairly reasonable. We blank again. That's super sad. Alright, we'll get a chunky creature. Attacks. We'll look to block with at least one other creature. Our Ledgewalker should be big enough to get the job done. Alright, more attacks. Triggers. We'll block. Block. We should play around Bump in the Night, so we should block here. Hello? Oh, that's got Shadow. We can't block that. Okay, well, opponent concedes. Okay. We got sort of lucky there. They didn't have a second bump, I feel. Post-board, my opponent's definitely going to bring in Edict effects, or is highly likely to, so Young Wolf is strong from our end. I don't see anything else being particularly relevant, including Gutshot. We are on the draw, and Silhana Ledgewalker is a little bit slow. Might just also minus out the ram throughs to keep our synergy. It can be expensive to play, particularly when we're behind on tempo. Rubbish looking 7. Opponent keeps their 7. We mulligan to this. We'll keep this one. This is a semi-difficult decision. Mask could be really strong. I feel it's safer and more consistent to go with Commune though. Fuck. Opponent heads off on Dark Ritual and spews a bunch of stuff on the board. Holy moly. Alright, we hit Armadillo Cloak. We can Utopia Sprawl, but then we're Utopia Sprawling for probably green, and that switches off our Armadillo Cloak. I feel like we play the Scout here, and that gives us an extra turn to hit land. It plays into an Edict. We are up a game, so potentially we can do that. Alright, Night Market Lookout, sure. Alright, so opponent hit us for a lot. We hit Ash Barrens, not the land we're really hoping for. So probably the most important thing is being able to cast Armadillo Cloak next turn. So we can actually do that by playing Ash Barrens and Utopia Sprawl and just having the turn off. Opponent has 0 cards in hand, so we'll just play to that. Alright, they rip another creature. Continue with the barrage of attacks. We got a 5. Okay, that's a pretty darn good draw. Although I think our life total is slight. Apologies. Alright, we ripped a second Armadillo Cloak. Our opponent had the chance to block there and chose not to. If they block, we would have just been stone dead. Even as it is, they have a lot of power coming at our face. 11 damage, and we are well and truly dead. A little bit closer than it looked. We'll run the same list back. This hand has good assurance against an Edict effect, but my opponent's deck seems more creature-based. We should probably go for something with a better clock. Alright, several hands later, we'll keep this 5. We'll get rid of Armadillo Cloak. And, goodness, I'm just going to scoop to the Edict. I don't think we can afford to lose either of these auras. We're basically drawing to Utopia Sprawl. So opponent hits Night Market Lookout. We hit Young Wolf. We'll pass. Alright, the zombie horde continues. I'll take the block here. That incidental life gain and loss is relevant. We will get our Undying trigger while our opponent is tapped out. Ash Barrens is decent. Now we can play Ethereal Armor. Next turn we can play Ancestral Mask. This is worth an attack here with the Bogle. And no blocks from my opponent. Alright, there's a sacrifice effect. Gareth's Verdict. 1 card left in my opponent's hand. Commune on top. Alright, let's just continue with racing our opponent. The more turns we give them, the more chance they have to find edict effects. Alright, creature plus Sovereign's Bite, and we're still in this. Can we hit some form of life gain or something to end this? Goodness, not quite. Basically trying to draw to Sentinel's Eyes there, I think. 11. 11 is not lethal. Opponent has a lot of damage on the board. Alright, well, if we block... Oh, we can't block the 3-powered creature. It has Intimidate. Okay. We just lose. Oh, that's something I should have counted. The upkeep triggers. Because then our opponent lost 2 life. We could have put them to 1. It wouldn't quite be enough, but it's something to keep in mind. Okay, match number 3. We won the die roll. No green mana in this hand. Unfortunately, we have to mulligan. And once more. Okay, very unfortunate. Opponent is on 6. We will keep this hand. Bottoming at least 1 cloak, maybe 2. Let's bottom both cloaks. Alright, opponent with the skitty kitty. Commune. We will grab planes and look to set up for a mask next turn, but our creature's going to be small and slow. Maybe it's better to keep the Ancestral Mask because it at least gives us an attack. Alright, we find Abundant Growth. I think spinning the wheel on Abundant Growth is reasonable. Otherwise, we're just attacking for the same amount anyway, right? Okay. So, payoff happens, we hit, we have an aura, we attack for 2. Opponent plays Spare Supplies. Enters tapped. When it enters, draw a card. Guilthawk. Sacrifice to draw another card. I'm fairly confused here. Okay. Bounces the artifact, so it's something to enable Guilthawk. I semi-understand now. Let's block the lifelink kitty. I don't think my opponent's going to have an edict effect. And forcing them to play the Embalm, which we can subsequently ram through. It seems fairly reasonable to me. Attack for 6. And no blocks from the opponent. Alright, they're playing Spare Supplies again. Thrabian Inspector, not touching the Scared Kitty. Alright, so we go ahead and take 2. An Abundant Growth, sure. Another Scout, lame. I'm happy trading with the... Oh, well, I'm happy with the Thrabian Inspector chumping here. It does not chump. We'll drop a Scout. Pass turn. Alright, opponent hits the Ballistic Gate. Attacks with both. Sure. No blocks to be had here. Passes to us. Can they Embalm? No, it's sorcery spared. They must have the Fog card in hand currently. We don't have Trample, unfortunately. I think we can attack with both to play around Celestial Flare. Chump blocking Thrabian Inspector when we're taking 2 damage is not that important. Alright, there's the Prismatic Strands. Semi-expected. That does have flashback for tapping a white creature. Alright, Spare Supplies again. More card draw. Opponent plays a second gate. Core Skyfisher. Bouncing Spare Supplies, sure. Oh, Galvanic Blast in response to the trigger. Roger, roger. Alright, so we'll take some damage here. Our opponent is effectively tapped out. Okay, we are so lucky we drew Rancor then. The client lagged a little bit. I was going to end step ram through this core Skyfisher. Because he can Prismatic Strands to prevent the damage here. Fortunately, we hit the trample. We'll get the effect in response to the Prismatic Strands. So target creature we control, target creature we don't. Boom, boom. Lucky game. Lucky climax to that misclick. Alright, so we've seen a few of these gate decks before. So Flaring Pain is my favorite card against them. That's why it's in the sideboard for that fog effect, that flashbackable fog effect. Freudian slip there, maybe. Alright, we'll trim a Silhana Ledgewalker. Then I might just minus out the Cartouche. It seems less important than Sentinel's Eyes. Alright, this is our hand. It's pretty decent. It might be a little bit slow getting to our white mana. We can judge that and hopefully we actually draw a second colored source. Alright, opponent starts with Great Furnace and nothing else. Goodness, could we be playing our creature into like a Pyroclasm or that 1 mana Pyroclasm? Off the off chance we are, I might look to fix our mana a little bit here, and this is not overly helpful. Utopia Sprawl is good if we hit another forest. Really bad if we don't, but it's also our only access to white mana for our 2 best auras in hand. Alright, let's take the Utopia Sprawl. If we have to play this slow, that's what we're expecting anyway, right? Boros Garrison, bounce. Alright, opponent also has a slow start. And that's not too bad. Alright, we'll float the mana. Utopia on the untapped. Utopia for white. Bogle plus Ethereal Armor. And we're past Pyroclasm. Thrabian Inspector, sure. Alright, and they use the 2 mana to cycle the Clue token, which I'm more than happy to see. It seems pretty straightforward. Rancor plus Armadillo Cloak. I'll start with the Armadillo Cloak because it's more important, but yeah, we've counted our lands right, that's fine. Big attack for 9. Essentially a 2-turn clock, including the current turn, because we have Ram through for the extra damage. Opponent taps out, protection from monocolored. Alright, well this is a multicolored creature, so unlucky for our opponent. And however they block, we'll assign blocking order. Before damage, we'll destroy the Thrabian Inspector. We'll go to damage, we'll trample the rest, we'll get the victory. Match number 4 against Bullseye, and we won the die roll here. We have a Silhana Ledgewalker hand, but it's keepable. Turn 1 Utopia Sprawl into turn 2 Silhana Ledgewalker works fine by me. I will Utopia for white. It's possible it's correct to go for green there because we've got the Abundant Growth to go for white and we have a lot of green mana symbols, right? Blood Fountain. Alright. Brick on land, which sucks. I think we'll just go for the Ledgewalker. If our opponent plays like a Chainer's Edict, Diabolic Edict, we do have the other Ledgewalker in hand. If we hit land, we can Ledgewalker plus Cartouche. Alright, so opponent goes Blood Fountain. It goes Seed of the Signoid, Frogmite, pass. So I'm actually going to go for the Ledgewalker first here. After we resolve Ledgewalker, I'll go for Cartouche. This is playing around Instant Speed Edict effect. Given our opponent is holding up 2 mana, that's entirely possible. Also, they're pausing a lot on this, so maybe they're a bit frustrated. Alright, and there's the Metallic Rebuke. We do not have the mana to pay for that. We do, however, have the magical cartouche. Alright, opponent, Deadly Dispute. Drawing some cards, sacking an artifact. Another artifact land. This one comes in tapped. Sacrifice an artifact. Deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. Alright, well my opponent's actually got quite a few artifacts he can sacrifice like that. Not worth a block here. That's really frustrating. Basically, if we play an enchantment, our opponent in response will just start activating this, sacrificing his lands, right? He's currently got 6 artifacts on the board. Sorry, 5 artifacts on the board. Commune is decent. So we'll just take an approach of just attacking like this with the board state as it is. We'll go to damage. I'll play a second main, Commune with Spirits. And then basically my plan here, Ethereal Armor, great pull. My plan here is to ram through in my opponent's end step and then hopefully we hit a creature. Pretty thin odds and all of that, but we might as well play to them, right? Alright, here's the activation. He's activated twice holding Prio. I wonder if this will fizzle the trigger at all. Let's try for it. If not, our opponent has to... Oh, wait. Okay, well that goes through. We lose our creature anyway, but at least we got rid of this pain in the butt. We have decent, really, really decent enchantments to reload on off the chance we draw another creature. My opponent did have the option to sack a couple of lands, but then they potentially land screw themselves. I think they're in a pretty strong position here, regardless. Gehemel Gangler, yeah, that's pretty beefy. They know about Ethereal Armor. If we had Armadillo Cloak here, it works that we gain the life. Maybe it's worth Armadillo Cloaking to stall our opponent. Rats, we hit a Commune. Well, this is really annoying. Hopefully my opponent just thinks by raging and doesn't counterspell this or something. Alright, they do let that one resolve. I'll Commune here, see what other auras we can get. Maybe we can get another cartouche if we're lucky. Rancor, semi-decent. 1 hexproof creature at the bottom, not so great. Alright, here comes in Big Gurmag and Trigger. Look, we gain the life back. Alright, we should have done that a turn earlier. We would have been on 18. We'll take what we can get at this stage though. Alright, opponent keeps attacking in. Not sure if they've realized what the trigger does yet or not. Oh, they got an effect against this. Okay. Not particularly. Alright, so opponent starts dumping some Enforcers, Thoughtcast to reload here. They can Metallic Rebuke, but we obviously... we can obviously play in response. We had the mana to call out the Metallic Rebuke, right? But opponent nets 8 damage here. Actually, they kill us on trigger. That's a shame. Still no creature. Boo. Alright, well, it potentially is right to bring in cards like Gutshot here, or even a Blue Elemental Blast. Red Elemental Blast helps us play around Metallic Rebuke, but I think that's not the best. Might bring in like 1 Gutshot, 1 Blue Elemental. Then I'll look to take out a Silhana Ledgewalker. And maybe an Ancestral Mask, just to cut down the top end a little bit. Alright, we see this hand. I think we can keep. We have Commune to fix our mana. And we have mana like color fixing with Abundant Growth already in hand. Obviously, a little bit weak to Edict Effect. Yeah, a little bit weak to Edict Effect on turn 2. We could play around that, but that could be delaying our game plan for a little bit long. I'll definitely grab the plains. Alright, opponent plays that, and yeah, let's just throw down. We'll try and race as quick as we can before the shenanigans come in. Alright, I guess we play the scout we just ripped off the top into Cartouche. This helps us play around Edict with this sequencing. If our opponent has that red 1-mana creature that sacks artifacts, we get blown out. Short of that, if we get to next turn and resolve some auras, our creature's toughness will be out of range. Alright, opponent's tapping down for Thoughtcast, also tapping their red mana. This is all very good news. Abundant Growth, we'll throw that one down here, draw a card, find plains. Alright, another Abundant Growth. Find Rancor. I think toughness is what we decide is most important here. Also, it's a better clock. It's 4 power versus 2 power. Alright, here's the Shaman. Opponent can start sacking artifacts, but they have 5 artifacts and we have 6 power and toughness. They need to commit 1 more artifact to the board to wipe us out. Damn. Perfect mana. They're going to completely destroy their mana base to do this, though. Holy cow, that is a good pull. Alright, well, I'm pretty fine just attacking here. We'll see how trigger happy our opponent is. Alright, they're happy to wait. If they're happy to wait, that's fine. We have a really good turn to reload on the board afterwards anyway, right? Because this next turn, they're forced into do it, short of them playing a flying creature, right? Here comes Frogmite. Deadly Dispuse. Alright. Well, they've got enough artifacts to spare now, regrettably. Well, this is a fantastic card to draw. This baits our opponent into doing it a little bit earlier. And we can go to attacks, but they're going to do it anyway, because we get this back from the graveyard, right? So they're forced to go for it now. Wait, what? Well, they have exactly 8 artifacts right now, so them pulling the trigger on Karklad and Shaman would mostly have them dead. Because they wouldn't have any mana left to rebuild with, and then we can just dump. See what happens here. Alright, so it looks like they're pulling the trigger. Oh, Diabolic Edict. Okay. So that sort of stinks, but we can rebuild. Opponent loses their Shaman. And I guess they didn't want to stack more triggers than they already had onto it. Opponent goes for a big scary Gomag. Keeps unloading onto the board. This is a scary looking board right now. 3 cards in hand, obviously holding up Metallic Rebuke. They attack us for 6. We find Ram Through. Ram Through doesn't change much. Alright, we keep them honest. Opponent, do you have Metallic Rebuke here? Wow, no Metallic Rebuke. Holy moly. That's got to be fortunate. Does this mean they have another Edict effect? Definitely attacking. Alright, we'll go to damage. Trample a couple. Put our opponent to 1. I guess they have to draw it this turn. And they have to play it during their turn and not let us untap. Alright, they're continuing to attack. Sure. Free block is a free block. Although maybe this entices them to Diabolic Edict earlier. So it might have been a little bit loose. Maybe I play for the misplay. These edicts are sort of annoying. We can bring in Young Wolf to help with it. Not a super big fan with all we've got. Alright, let's take out these blue elemental blasts and gut shot. Strangely enough, I didn't realize that dealt damage to the creature itself. Of course it did, it doesn't wipe it out. So we don't really need to worry about it. It kills itself in the process. It can just activate on the stack holding priority, right? So minus one more mask for maximum mana efficiency. I know this is like probably the best card in our deck. Just don't want to get clogged up on mana in a tempo matchup, right? Alright, so this will be an interesting third match. I am going to keep this hand. It's potentially a little bit weak to my opponent's interaction depending on how it all lines up. Scout is an interesting draw. I think we ignore the Silhana Ledgewalker here. Actually, Silhana could be important. We're not going to have the biggest creature. Options are Young Wolf into Ledgewalker next turn, or Utopia Sprawl into Young Wolf Ledgewalker next turn. I guess we Utopia Sprawl, and we shouldn't be punished if we go for green here. In fact, it's the correct decision because it's the only way to do the line we spoke about. Alright, opponent plays land, passes to us, so we will go ahead and hit up some green mana. Young Wolf, Ledgewalker, pass. Alright, opponent goes Valakut, a Vault into Blood Fountain, so they're tapped out on black mana this turn, that's good news. Now Thoughtcast. And there's that blasted Shaman. Alright, well, I hate you, Mr. Shaman. I really, really do. So the correct play is for my opponent to do this during our turn, not his own. This just seems like way too good to be true. I don't know. We get to unload like completely pre-combat here, and it doesn't make any real sense to me why my opponent's given us this option. I will hit the Rancor on the Young Wolf because it does give us 2 extra power to attack with this turn. It might be unfortunate later on, but we are also creature heavy with the Warrior token and the Scout in hand. Alright, Deadly Dispute, getting rid of Blood Fountain, tapping a lot of mana into Landstar, and alright, we just keep on hitting cards we can play, right? So Rancor sort of almost makes up for the potentially misplaced Rancor last turn. Now it's going to be difficult for our opponent to block either creature. And we have him dead on our next attack, right? That's pretty sweet. Another Shaman. Alright, well, opponent can blow up the board with their second Shaman. It was main deck, so it's not unreasonable to think they might have 4 of them in the deck. Alright, they're happy just resetting the board state. We do have double Rancor coming back to hand to equip on our next Scout. Opponent is potentially holding up Metallic Rebuke. We do have mana to play around that this turn. I think it's correct to try and cast the Bogle here. Oh, the Scout, pardon me. This potentially plays into a third Cart Clan's Shaman. We don't know that our opponent has that though. Alright, well, it looks like they're just letting stuff resolve now. We'll commune. We'll look to get something that adds toughness. Maybe another Cartouche would be the most ideal. Alright, there is the Metallic Rebuke. We cannot pay for it. It's interesting they didn't get rid of Rancor, but maybe they just assumed we'd play the other Rancor afterwards. Maybe we should have, and left the commune a little bit secret for payoff on the next turn. Alright, well, opponent returns the Shaman with the Blood Fountain. So that sort of sucks. I need to get rid of this card somehow. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and concede. I'll give it one more turn, then I'll probably concede. Alright, so third Blood Fountain, the Shaman they returned because they returned 2, right? And we blank. Alright, I think enough to call it. Alright, match number 5 versus Definitive IV. We won the gyro on the play. We're going to go ahead and keep this. Hopefully we hit our second land naturally. If not, the play is probably Commune because that gives us the follow-up play of potentially Ethereal Armor. Alright, and looks like we are versing Elves, which is usually a pretty rough one for us. Blank on white mana, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and Abundant Growth here. Yeah, we start putting down enchantments to get our giant masks. Alright. Now we just need to empty our hand faster than our opponent, which is probably unlikely. So opponent main phase plays Quirion Ranger. Usually you attack first and then you play your creature, but okay. They're doing it this way, sure thing. Are they land screwed? Them being land screwed is an absolute blessing. That is really, really good for us. Lead off on Commune. Ethereal Armor can be second. We hit Rancor. Rancor Armadillo Cloak. Hell yeah. Get me an Armadillo Cloak. Let's go. We brick on land, unfortunately, though. So yeah, if my opponent did that the other way, they could have potentially had this to block. Of course, we got first strike down, but maybe we don't have the Ethereal. Maybe we have the Rancor. Definitely life gain is going to be our best friend in this matchup. 100%. Okay, here comes the Burning Tree Emissary. And bizarrely enough, Volt Scourge. That's an odd one. Still 3 cards in my opponent's hand. I'm not particularly concerned with the creatures on board currently. We brick on land, dude. That's a rough one. I think we have to be on defense a little bit here now. Just because our life total is low, we're not guaranteed land drop, and if we don't hit land next turn, our opponent will just kill us, and they might even kill us anyway. We really needed to curve Armadillo into Mask. Here it is. We can block, jump, and then they only get through. Block, jump, get through 3 damage, gain a life. I mean, 3 damage is manageable down to 8. If he's attacking like this is fine. This gives us a block. Block here. Do we double block here? Feel like reducing our opponent's board state is important. I think removing the creature permanently is better than jumping twice. Alright, fortunately no mutagenic growth or anything from our opponent. Hunger Howl Pick. Morbid. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Making a chunky Volt Scourge. Untapping. Oh, and another one. Holy moly. Deck, a little help please. That's not the help we're looking for. Come on, man. This Elves player is going slow. Alright. Opponent is playing stuff pre-combat. Vines. What the hell, man? That's not the line. What is this rubbish fucking Volt Scourge in Elves? What a joke. So we do have the option to board in Scattershot Archer. I don't know if we should be scared of Volt Scourge though. That's like 4 in 60, right? That's not that huge. Flag Bearer could be semi-decent. This whole Morbid thing seems like a weird inclusion to me. Don't think we want Standard Bearer. I think Gutshot's plenty. We'll drop a Silhana. We'll jump into it. Alright, okay. No first strike with this hand. Definitely keepable and decent. Alright, opponent. Nettle Sentinel. Almost want to get tricky and get that off the board, eh? This is so annoying. I kind of maybe need to play this on white. No, I don't, because I have the Abundant Growth on white. So I can play this on green, sure. And I think in this spot, trading for the Nettle Sentinel is fine because we have plenty of mana to reload next turn. And denying tempo is probably more important here currently. Alright, Quirion Ranger with Rancor is a lot less scary than Nettle Sentinel with Rancor. Bogle. Mask. Hey look, 7 power. We're going to throw down these Rancors. It's going to be an extra 8 power, so 15. We'll need a little bit of help from the top of our library to lethal our opponent next turn. Alright, here's some attacks. We could block here. We can get blown out by Vines of Vastwood kicked though, right? Because we don't have first strike and then they just trade with each other. I'm happy taking the 5. It's not lethal. There's the Vines kicked. Wow, Mask is one hell of a draw. Holy smokes, we take those. Cool bananas, 27 damage. Look at that chunky Bogle. Something tells me Standard Bearer could come in handy against like all these buff effects, right? Vines of Vastwood now. I might just take out a Silhana. I'm not expecting removal from my opponent. That won't mean they won't have it, but I'm not playing like they do. We have to mulligan. Opponent mulligan to 6. Lame as heck. We have to mulligan again. It's probably not a matchup that going down in resources is really going to be that helpful for. Alright, keep whatever this is. Bottom. I think it's right to go this way, but it's not great either way. Alright, we hit white mana. That's kind of nice. Let's Utopia first turn, so then we have a chump blocker up next turn and we use our mana efficiently. I don't think we're the beatdown this game currently. Otherwise, we play Scout this turn, we blank on land. All we can do is Rancor and not attack. Not ideal. Hey look, we hit the land. That's pretty nice. Alright, we have a fighting chance. Hopefully the top of our library continues to help us. And what help is that? Ask and you shall receive, apparently. Alright, let's throw down. I'm off to the races, lads. I don't know about you guys. Let's jump in there. Opponent just passes back to us, so we attack and they have to chump with at least 1. We take those. Alright, put you to 2, opponent. So on a mulligan to a 4, our opponent concedes and we steal the victory. That's definitely a nice one. Reveal hand. So what did our opponent have? Double Burning Tree Emissary. Elephant Guide, River Boa, Silhana Ledgewalker, Kyrian Ranger, and Gleeful Sabotage. So our opponent would have been absolutely destroying us if they hit their second mana. It's really unfortunate for them that they did not. We definitely high rolled that spot while they low rolled. Ripping Mask off the top there, land into Mask perfectly. I mean, we couldn't ask for more. Alright, so the deck ran pretty medium today, in my opinion. Obviously finishing 2 and 3, and had a little bit of help there. Also, I suppose, a little bit of misfortune as well. That Grixis artifact deck, with the Clanclad, whatever it was, Saboteur, was pretty rough, right? Especially on the recycling. With the sideboarding, I think I'm onto something with Red Elemental and Blue Elemental Blast. I think I need to be a little less greedy with the other cards though. So like, removal's kind of important. We've got the 2 Ram Through in the main deck, potentially a Gut Shot on the side, and potentially, if we're versing a red or a blue deck, another 3 cards. If we're not versing red or blue decks and we need different kind of removal, that's probably where it gets a bit sketchy. So having a sideboard package like this is possibly meta dependent. I think if we're going to go like this though, we probably have to remove the Gut Shot. A Scattershot Archer I don't think is too bad. I'm finding Standard Bearer I'm putting it in less and less as we're going on. I might just try trimming out Standard Bearer at the moment. This gives us the chance to go up a Scattershot Archer, and I might actually go up a Blue Elemental Blast as well. So going up the Blue Elemental Blast like this is going to shore up that red matchup, right, against the Blitz deck. Against the Delver deck, the Fairy deck, we've got the Scattershot Archers anyway. I still think we're like a little bit soft to Edict effects. But I don't think Young Wolf or Cartouche of Solidarity really deal with that problem effectively. A lot of the time, opponents have a way to like wrath the board, right? Or they have the End of Festivities, which deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. We can play around this by going a little bit slower. So that's just like, it'll blow you out if you're not prepared for it or playing around it. But if we verse like a black-red deck, which can potentially have this into Edict, then we kind of need the Cartouche. Against a lot of other matchups, I sort of think we need Sentinel's Eyes. Maybe that's just a bit of naivety from me though. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video today, guys. If you made it all the way to the end, you enjoyed it and want to see more Bogle content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, follow along, and I'll have a new video out each week. Have a great day, guys and gals. We'll see you next time, and enjoy.